Hello. Welcome, welcome. It is that time of evening again where I read. We will not be going as hard with this as I have previously. Let me just move the fucking goose into place. Where is a good spot for you? Why does it keep locked? We will not be going as fucking hard and heavy doing one every night because that was terrible for me and my voice. However, this is shorter in terms of word count, so hopefully we should be able to get through more chapters a night. And hopefully we have a little bit of fun with this. It comes, recommended from the folks back home, I suppose. This is Sibling Rivalry. It's another snoot fic. I have no injuries to report in the work week. So, with just one more check to other things. Just a little checksy check. A little fucking yeah, sorry. Hee. Good to see people here. Woohoo! Yippee! Here we are. Now we'll start reading now. Sorry for the hold up. I was just making sure everything was working right. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to. There we are. Sorry about that. Things happen. Shit's fucky. Alright, Sibling Rivalry is produced by the seasoned Snoot Enjoyer. The summary of the whole thing is siblings can be a pain in the ass sometimes. True that. Chapter the first is entitled A Family Dinner Scene. Let me get my little chat window up for me to see. Yeah, there was a little whoopsie doodle with the thing, but alas, it will be okay. The gravel crunches as you pull into the driveway of your home. After shifting into park and activating the handbrake with enough force to almost rip the handle out of its place, you finally begin to unbuckle your seatbelt and grab your work stuff in a very animated fashion. You are an Anwa Mouse, and you are finally got home from work. You approach the door of your humble abode, fumbling with the keys, swearing not so under your breath, trying to find the right one. You shove the correct key into the knob and push the door open, not even caring who may be in the house to hear you vocally express how you thought about your day. "I'm home!" you scream so that all could hear. Fuck, why doesn't the world die? As you say that, you could hear two voices from the couch as you pass it. "Hey, Dad." "Hi, Daddy." Your daughter had her friend over. Fuck. She just saw you march in and curse everything in existence. She practically lived here at this point. While the Triceratops mother wouldn't be thrilled with the language you were using around her daughter, you couldn't really bring yourself around to care. Pulling off your coat and hat and throwing it haphazardly upon the dining table, you make a beeline for the fridge and grab a beer. Placing the cap at the edge of the counter, you slam your fist down, removing the barrier keeping you from your sweet, piss-flavored ambrosia. Next stop, master bedroom. You didn't want to make more of a scene in front of Sarah and Amber. You throw up the door and slam it shut, causing a lime green figure in the corner to jump and spin around, wondering who just violently invaded her room while she was putting away laundry. "Anon?" You kick off your shoes and you collapse onto your bed, taking a nice long sip of your cold beverage before answering your Stego wife. Yeah, you didn't hear me enter? I practically yelled my entrance in. Well, the girls have been pretty loud on their video games in the living room, so I thought I'd just been tuning them out. You seem tired. You glance over at your spouse with a pair of fed-up eyes before staring back at the ceiling. You take another sip of your beer, the bottle making an audible pump sound as you brought it from your dry lips. Yeah, you could say that. You bring your fingers to your eyes and rub them, pinching the bridge of your nose. Your wife, Stella, places down the laundry she was folding and walks over onto the bed before sitting down. You want to talk about it, Anon-kun? You glance over at your wife with an exasperated look. She stares down at you with innocent smile as she rubs your arm in comfort. With a deep sigh, you place your booze on the bedside table before sitting up. Anon-kun? Really? Stella, I thought I told you how I feel about you using that. Your wife flinches her hand away with a face of dejection. Sorry, Anon, I just thought... You rub your face with both your hands before letting out an audible groan. No, don't. I know what you were trying to do. I'm sorry, I was being an ass. Work was just... Sometimes I wonder how I would have been able to work these petty clients for 19 years. Your wife coos, cautiously returning her hand to your shoulder. Well, you're home now. And it's Friday. You won't have to think about those people for another 2 days. Was it really that bad? You scoff, looking back up to your wife. Oh yeah, it was, but maybe later. Right now I just want to decompress. It's okay. How about I get started on dinner early, I'll make your favorite tonight. You look back up at Stella with an appreciative smile. Yeah, that sounds great! You plant a kiss on her snoot before she gets up and begins to leave the room. Although... Your sweet Stego turns around before opening the door. You could go and apologize for making such a scene in front of the kids. Preferably before dinner. The floor got a lot more interesting all of a sudden. A few slow nods of your head and you look back up to her. Yeah, you're right. I should. Stella smiles at that before exiting, heading towards the kitchen to work her magic. With yet another sigh, you reach over to the beer on your nightstand, chugging it down in one go and placing it back on the table. Decompression speedrun complete. You stand up and head into the living room to apologize to your eldest daughter and her friend. Approaching the teens, you stretch and nod your head as a greeting. Evening, Amber and Sarah. Nice to see you too. The leader glances over with a sly smile. Hiya, Mr. Mouse! Oh wait, no, that's not good. Sorry. Hiya, Mr. Mouse! The former returned you a greeting without taking any concentration away from her game. Hey, Dad. Long way at work? Or long day at work? You brought your hand up to your neck and sighed. Yeah, sorry about that, by the way. I shouldn't have screamed at you both. It was uncalled for. Sarah giggled. It's okay, Mr. Mouse. I don't mind being yelled at all. Not at all. This comment was enough to break your daughter's concentration, shooting a death glare at her friend before elbowing her in her ribs. Sarah shot back her own shit-eating grin. Okay then, not sure what that was all about, but you weren't about to question it. It's okay, Dad. We all have bad days at work sometimes. I understand you weren't yelling at me. Your daughter says, looking up from her still giggling friend. Thanks, Sweet Tooth, but that is still no excuse. I shouldn't be yelling, period. You take a glance behind you and see Stella smiling in approval. The kitchen and living room could honestly be considered the same room. The only thing separating the room was an L-shaped counter between the two of you. You turn back around and take a seat in your own recliner. Hey! Is this what I think it is? Amber glances over before answering your questions. Left 4 Dead 2. Yeah, it is. Damn, this game is almost as old as me. Why are you two playing this? Your daughter shrugs. It's fun. Besides, Sarah was able to get your old Xbox working in order despite its age. He glanced over at the Triceratops with a look of disbelief. You were able to? How? With a flick of her hair and a sense of accomplishment on her face that sticks out her chest with pride. I have a hobby of tinkering with old electronics, Mr. Mouse. It started when I was bored back in my mom's salon, and now I make a few bucks fixing stuff for the kids at school. I'm even able to get a few days off whenever Mr. Spears is having trouble with the projectors. Huh. You never would have pegged Sarah as being the handy type. Though, she did take after her mother in a lot of ways. While the two of you are on good terms now, you could even say friends. You could tell you still annoyed Trish. Sarah, on the other hand, seemed to enjoy your company. Much to Amber's chagrin for whatever reason. Perhaps your daughter just didn't appreciate Sarah's sense of humor. Not that you understood any of it. Probably just weird teenage girl stuff. Anon, sweetheart. You were pulled out of your inner monologue by Stella leaning over the counter. I'm almost done. Could you tell Cynthia to get ready for dinner? You know how long she likes to take? Yeah, sure. You get up and head over to the small hallway on the opposite side of the room, knocking on a door on the right. An irritated voice calls out, Yeah? Cynthia, dinner's almost ready. Don't forget to wash up. There were a few seconds of silence before movement could be heard from inside. Sure, Dad. I'll be out in a minute. Heading back to the living room, you notice Amber and Sarah had put their game on pause to help your wife set the table. You'd ask if Sarah would be joining you tonight, but at this point, it wasn't really necessary. Trish worked late, so Sarah staying over for dinner was the usual occurrence, especially on the weekends. Taking over for Stella, you finish setting out utensils and take your seat at the round table, followed by Amber and Sarah. The former really quick to take a seat next to you while giving Sarah the stink eye. Again, you'll never understand those two. Stella, meanwhile, comes out with your favorite, her spaghetti. Well, it's your favorite among the food she can cook. Ignoring how your French wife's best dish is Italian, your actual favorite dish is a lot less appropriate in the context of dinner. You don't need to bring up those old memories anyway. Is Cynthia almost ready? She asks, placing Parmesan cheese in the center of the table next to the garlic bread. Yeah, she said she'd be out in a minute. Oh, a minute? The Stegosaurus rolls her eyes. Hey, she takes her time. She'll be out before the food gets cold. Amber scoffs. Yeah, a full 60 seconds before, maybe. It's your turn to roll your eyes. The fact that you have to get family dinner, that you get to have a family dinner at all is a luxury. You remember back when you still lived with your parents and how any actual family time was severely limited. Looking back, you couldn't lay all the blame on them. They weren't negligent, but still. Only gave you the bare minimum needed. Dad still let you his old prom suit, and Mom still wished you Merry Christmases and Happy Birthdays. And of course, life shit happens to everyone. But not being there for graduation, your marriages, the births of your children, yeah, they could go fuck themselves for that. All that to say, you could wait a few minutes for your more eccentric daughter to come for dinner.
You can call her whatever you want. Amber has a point, and she should still learn how to come to dinner on time.
Your wife says, pouring herself a glass of iced tea. Fucking mumbling. 2 decades after high school, and it still haunts you.
Hello, family. What goislop are we eating tonight?
On cue, Cynthia finally decides to walk up to the table and sit down, greeting the table with a tone as if she were trying her hardest to sound as disinterested as possible. Stella looks at the teen for several seconds, trying to decipher whatever the fuck she just called dinner before ignoring it and answering like nothing happened.
Spaghetti, sweetheart, with garlic bread. Oh, that actually sounds nice.
Dinner passes with the occasional small talk. You mentioned the producer you've been working for the last 2 weeks being a particular pain in the ass, and the primary reason for your outburst coming home. Cynthia begins discussing her new favorite anime discoveries with you and Stella, though mostly you.
I mean, I know it's the same studio who produced Malwara Penguindrum, so I can't imagine it being that bad. But the art style just looks almost off, if you know what I mean.
You nod your head and slurp up more of the spaghetti into your mouth. Whatever was coming out of Cynthia's mouth wasn't really interesting to you. After almost 2 decades, you've mostly grown out of your neat phase. Now you only ever watch anime because your wife or daughter beg you to.
Oh, and don't get me started on the normies online freaking out over. You know, Amby, they are holding a contest thing at school. Why don't you enter it?
Sarah interjects, cutting off Cynthia through a mouthful of spaghetti. This piques your interest as you turn away from an annoyed Cynthia to Amber. Volcano High is having an art contest?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the point in doing it.
Amber rolls her eyes and pokes her spaghetti with disinterest. After a sideways glare at Sarah, Cynthia speaks up without looking from her plate.
I get it. You probably wouldn't win anyways.
Your eldest daughter drops her fork and glares up at your youngest.
What?
Uh-oh.
I'm stating the truth. Every year the judges always pick one of the popular kids, and you just aren't that popular. Sorry to say, sis, that you probably wouldn't be able to paint something good enough to shock them out of their nepotism.
Cynthia states matter-of-factly before taking another bite of food. Amber grits her teeth.
I could kick every single artist's ass in school with just a monochromatic color palette.
Cynthia shrugs.
Could. Yes, but like every competition, it's just a popularity contest. Don't worry, sis. Van Gogh wasn't appreciated until he was dead either.
It was probably about time you butt in. Okay, Cynthia, I think that... But before you can finish your thoughts, Amber stands up, pushing her chair away with a loud groan, and points an accusatory finger at her sister.
I don't need to hear shit from a talentless slob who sits in a room all day.
She grabs her barely eaten food and storms off to her room, leaving an awkward-looking Sarah behind her, who with a forced smile thanks your wife for the meal before following your friend. You glare at the remaining teenager at the table. That wasn't called for.
What? But
No buts. There was no good reason for you just to insult your sister like that.
I didn't insult anything about her. If anything, I was insulting the favoritism that's plaguing the school.
Your daughter waves her hands in an animated fashion. Even if that's true, how you did that was unnecessary and rude. After dinner, I expect you to go and apologize. You say with a sternness you still weren't used to having.
Why?
You glare at her harder before she crosses her arms in her rumps, looking away from you.
She wouldn't even listen to me anyways.
Before he could respond to that comment, Stella, who has since been silent, spoke up.
Cynthia.
Cynthia flinches at her mother's tone. You know what was coming. Stella drags in a staggered breath, attempting with all her might not to yell at this young stego in front of her.
Tu es interrompu, se que divide et trait un bon diner in insolent dessauer.
Cynthia looks down at the floor, wrapping a tail around her leg.
Tu vas écarter ton père et t'esquiller après de amber. Vos nettoyers ensuite toute la vaisselle sexuelle, comprende? But...
Cynthia started to stutter before Stella could quickly put an end to it.
Comprende?
With a pause and an aura of irritation, she gets up and begins to walk towards her sister's room without looking up to meet her mother's gaze.
Oui, Mama.
One side of view, you glance towards your wife with a shocked expression. Man, don't know how you do it. She sighs before plunging her fork into the food in front of her.
It's not something I enjoy doing. I'm sorry dinner went so horribly, Anon. Especially after the day you just had.
You shake your head and wave your hand. Nah, it's fine. I'm overworked now. Plus, your cooking was great as always. Stella brings some food to her mouth before cringing and pushing the plate away from her.
It never used to be like this.
You let a sigh and none of your own and place a hand on her shoulder. Well, they're sisters. I mean, this is supposed to be somewhat normal, right? Sibling rivalry. You have no idea. You were an only child growing up, and the only reference you had were the Aarons, and they weren't necessarily the most normal family. Plus, Nate's a dude, and that may change the particulars. Your wife shakes her head and places her face into her palms.
I don't know, Anna. This just feels worse, Anon. It doesn't feel like sibling rivalry. I didn't have a sister growing up, but they were never usually so quick to be at each other's throats like this.
Look, they'll get past this. Do you remember how Nazer and Lucy used to treat each other? Stella cringes at the mention of Lucy. Not that you blamed her. It wasn't really something that you liked bringing up either.
Yeah, but I don't know, Anon.
You rub her back, making sure to avoid her spines. Hey, one day at a time, huh? She didn't say anything back. She just leaned into your shoulder and closed your eyes. You decided to end it there and just enjoy the quiet for a moment.
Alright, I apologized. But you wouldn't give me your plate back to clean.
You looked up at your returning daughter. That's fine, just clean up everything else and get back to it when you're done if she doesn't bring it back herself. If she does, don't talk to her. Cynthia snorted before she started to collect the used dishes and bring them into the kitchen. Once gone, Stella finally removes herself.
I need to finish the laundry before it gets too late.
I'll help you out. You follow her into the master bedroom. The rest of your evening was quiet. After helping Stella put away your clothing, you stay in the living room to make sure Cynthia finishes her chores, and that she doesn't say anything to Amber or Sarah if they were to come out of their room. Cynthia takes a few attempts to make some small talk with you, but you reject every attempt. One to make a point that she was in trouble and that her doing dishes was part of the punishment. She continues her work in silence, and no one says anything to anyone else for the rest of the night. Wow. Is that Iggy I spy? In the chat? Was it? It was not. It was a different friend. It was Reed! It's the in-between break so I can draw stuff. Yeah, you do that. I have it pulled up. You can start. No, not the ducks. I'm not a well. I'm not a duck, I guess. Should I try to draw? Hold on. Should Yeah, I'm gonna try and draw Cynthia just getting fucking hosed down. It's streaming right now. You went out to an audience of one person. Alright, well, I'm trying to draw this fucking meat, real quick. I understood, like, a good portion of it. Yeah, and destroying automod. This is a very poor drawing of Cynthia, I'm gonna be honest. You wanna just listen for a while? Man, I'm not anywhere near. Yeah, odd 9 here. I hope the one person who's watching this on YouTube is enjoying the fucking goose drawing I've done here. That's Father Oates. I dropped a link somewhere. Oh wow, there's quite a few people in here now. How'd this happen? Cocainer, what should I draw the goose doing in this brief intermission? You gotta use a 0. Yeah, well, 0 instead of a regular O. It does have a goose on it. And a blue seal. Inside of a blue seal, I should say. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck it does that shit. Here, I'll just fucking... I can make this really easy for you to read real quick, okay? I can do a little fun thing called sending a link. There you go, that. Live right now is the Tucker Carlson goose. Alright, I'm gonna get back to reading, fellers. I hope you all enjoy. Yeah. You can talk. You're allowed to. As soon as I press this button, it stops being able to hear you, so... There you go. Like I said, I won't stop you from talking. I have it set up so it can't hear Discord right now. Yeah, you can still talk. You're fine. hold on. Let me make sure it's seeing that second right there. Yep, alright, we're cool.
You practically kick open your door, setting down your spaghetti onto your desk, and you get to work. You grab your sketch pad from your desk and open it to a blank page. You'll show that bitch. What the fuck did she even know about art contests anyway? She hardly paid any attention in class, let alone to whatever extracurriculars were happening at school. You begin warming up, drawing simple shapes over and over again. Circles behind circles behind circles. She's always on those damn internet boards anyway. It's probably why her brain is so fucking rotten. It's where she picked up all her stupid phrases after all. What the fuck does even Goislop mean, anyway? You hear a click from your door closing up and look up. Hey, Amby? You don't answer your Triceratops friend as you look down at your sketch pad. What you doing? You grunt. Warming up to do a sketch. Oh, right now? Yeah, I'll need to work quick if I'm gonna have something ready for that contest at school. Sarah cocked her head to the side. The contest? So you were gonna enter it? That's what I said, wasn't it? You didn't need her to look up. You didn't need to look up to see her friend's exasperated look as she took a seat next to you on your bed. You don't have to take Cynthia's words to get onto you. You have to let Cynthia's words get onto you. You stop for a moment and look up at Sarah. I'm not, but I'm just proving to her that what she said was wrong. By entering a contest you don't want to be a part of in the first place? Sarah raises an eyebrow as she slumps down to some of the noodles your stepmom made. Hey, I can tell her she's wrong all day. Hell, I do tell her she's wrong all day. You look back down at your sketch pad. But you gotta be able to back it up, you know? Amby. You furrow your brow, refusing to look back up at her. You know she's just saying shit. I mean, who even cares? It's not like that, you say as you flip your page over the practice poses. You could practically hear the "Are you sure about that?" face she's burning into the back of your head. Look, she runs her mouth all the fucking time. If it wasn't about whatever anime she's watching or fucking Finland for some reason, it's about me. Your friend shrugs and goes back to another bite of her meal, speaking up with her mouth full. Show? She's bluffing. I know she's talking out of her ass. You place your pencil down and turn around to face her. But I can't let that basement dweller fucking constantly talk shit. You know how fucking long she's been doing this for? It's like all she knows is snark. Y'all don't even have a basement. You know what I mean. A sigh of exasperation leaves your friend's snout as she places her food to the side and leans forward to look you in the eyes. Amby, she's a bitch. This has been established for as long as I've known you, which has been my whole life. I get it. I've got siblings too. But you know what I tell my siblings when they try to put me down? I tell them to shut the fuck up before I release my inner trigger on that bitch. Asses. She finishes her sentence with an exasperated snap. You sigh and turn back around to your face or sketchbook. Staring at it a few seconds, you feel your hand on your shoulder. Cynthia's a bitch, Amby. What she said tonight doesn't make her any more or less of one. You already said you don't see her point. Don't let Cynthia, of all people, give you one. You sat there and thought about it for a minute. Staring at the blank page in front of you, you realized you didn't even have an idea for what you would paint. Sarah was right. You shouldn't let Cynthia push you to do anything. She was a bitch, but that didn't mean you should let her force you to do anything. On the other hand, though, you've gone too far too long just for letting her walk all over you. You were the older sister, damn it. And besides, why not prove that you can fucking knock this contest out of the park? You're a natural artist, just like your mom. Allegedly. You shook your head and looked back up at Sarah. Regardless, I'm entering the contest, and I'm gonna win it. The Triceratops sighs and returns to your bed. Alright, in any case, whatever you do, I'm behind you 100%. You smile at that. I still think you're giving in to her. Before you could respond, a very half-hearted knock was heard at the door. Yes? The door opens and the green bitch herself walks in. Sarah gets up and puts herself between you and your half-sister. And just what the hell are you doing in here? Cynthia snarls, shooting a Sarah mean glare. It's my house. I can do whatever I want. Sarah rolls her eyes and scoffs. But it's not your room. It's not your room either. Before the two could continue their back and forth, you look up from behind Sarah and interject. Cynthia, what do you want? I'm sorry for insulting you tonight and ruining our family's wonderful dinner. She forced her apology out with a pained and obvious grimace. I'm sure you are. Hey, I'm here to apologize. I don't want to hear it right now, Cynthia. Could you please just leave me alone for the rest of the night? Your sister rolls her eyes. Fine, but give me your plate. I need to do the dishes. You look over to your half-eaten food. It'd be a shame if you let some of Mom's spaghetti go to waste. I'm not done with it yet. I'll bring it out later. Fine. I'll be in the kitchen. Don't take too long. She pulls your door closed, leaving you with Sarah in peace. You groan and lay out lay your face down on your desk. You okay, Amby? Yeah, I just need to clean my head is all. Want to continue our game in the living room? No, we'll be able to see Cynthia from there. I'm tired, anyways. Let's just watch a movie in here while we eat. I want to sleep. No problem, girl. I got you. The two of you relax and rest for the rest of the evening. Eating the rest of your now cold spaghetti, making a point of avoiding eye contact with Cynthia when you eventually had to walk in and give her back the plates you and Sarah brought into your room. You didn't pay much attention to the movie Sarah put on after that. You were stuck in your own head trying to figure out just what you would do for this contest you were going to enter. Ideas ranging from portraits to landscapes enter your mind, even a few ideas for more abstract work. You drifted to sleep with nothing lighting your room except for the glow of the TV. You drifted off to sleep with your mind filled with color palettes, pushing Cynthia squarely out of your mind. Wow, these chapters is going fucking quick. Jesus Christ. Everybody's gone. Oh no. No fun intermissions. Yeah, let me. No. Let me just fucking prime my voice again. Hit goose and shit. Alright, well. Nothing to do but continue. He. Alright, let's fucking get back into it. That's enough. Chapter 3 is entitled A Picture Book is Worth 1,000 Words. You lay in your bed as you toss a hacky sack up and down in the air, mind lost in thought. Should it be a landscape piece? Plenty of pretty places to paint in the bluffs. Nah, probably done to death. You could do one of the more exotic. Places, you suppose. But of what? A desert? Nah, you don't like deserts. Alaskan mountain range? Maybe with an aurora borealis. That's a lot of colors to work with, though. What about a taiga forest? Easier, but that would make the color palette a lot more restrictive. It'd give you a challenge, though. You catch the hacky sack and lift your head to look at Sarah, who's messing with one of your dad's old Xbox controllers. What? You ask? That restricted color palette you were talking about. It'd give you a challenge. Besides, you said you could win the contest with one anyways, right?
But she... Oh.
I must have mumbled that, didn't I?
Yep. You curse your genetics and lean back into your bed. You don't typically put this much thought in any of your other paintings.
Your friend speaks up, still working with the controller.
Yeah, well, I'm not typically in an art contest. You're not even in it yet.
Yeah, but I've made the commitment, though.
Sarah shakes her head and sighs. I still think you're just giving it to your sister. You furrow your brow, tossing your hacky sack a little higher. We've had this discussion last night. I'm not having it again. All right, we don't have to. There's a slight pause before Sarah speaks up again. What about a portrait?
A portrait of who?
Sarah shrugs. I don't know, maybe one of the teachers? You could go a long way feeding Mr. Spears' ego.
Sarah, I'm not painting Mr. Spears.
Hey, just an idea.
You thought about it for a minute.
A portrait wasn't really a bad idea, actually. No, not of Spears, but in general. Well, you weren't the best at them.
You've painted plenty, but you never were one to get the anatomy right. You could paint landscapes and architecture for days, no sweat. But of dinos, there's so many different head shapes and body shapes to keep track of, not even mentioning the proportions. Humans are no easier. Despite all looking relatively similar, they are surprisingly complex when you get into the particulars. The different dino races were so easy to tell apart, but the human rains, their skin color was usually dead giveaway, but dinos have been using that as a very dangerous crutch forever. Humans are really quickly to point out that when a dinosaur's made a human portrait because they get the nose shape or hair type wrong or whatever race the human was supposed to be. Damn spear chuckers and their heightened pattern recognition. You can say this if you're basically half human, right?
Yeah, that could lead to way too many allegations of racism than what it was worth. If you're going to do a portrait, it was going to be a dino. Might as well stick to what you know. But of who? My idea this faculty is still on the table. You curse yourself again. No, not of the faculty. Whatever you say, Amby. You roll your eyes and look back toward the ceiling, continuing to mindlessly toss your hacky sack up and down. What about yourself? It wouldn't be that hard to do. All you need is a mirror. There are just a few photographs of yourself. Plenty of those around the house. But that could be pretty narcissistic. Plus, it wasn't really original. Oh yeah, present the judges a portrait of you! The student they see probably on a daily basis.
Yeah, no, pass.
You scrunch your snoot as you begin to rack your brain. You need someone, a dinosaur, who would be easy to paint. Someone who looked just like you, preferably, but wasn't you. Who in the hell would even... It hit you. Literally, your epiphany made you forget about the hacky sack you're tossing, and it hit you in the face. Ah! Whoa, Amber, what's wrong?
Nothing.
You respond with rubbing your snoot. But I think I have an idea of who to do the portrait of. Oh, who?
My mom.
Oh, Miss Stella, that's nice. No, Sarah, my mom! Oh, fuck, I reversed him. The one who was best friends and in a band with your mom? Oh, yeah, that's not actually a bad idea.
I know, right? I'm sure there are plenty of reference photos stashed somewhere in this house. Plus, she looks just like me, so it'll be very easy to drop a sketch.
And she used to work at Volcano High. You give Sarah an incredulous look.
You're still on the me painting a member of faculty plan?
Sarah shook her head. No, think about it. A lot of teachers at Volcano High were probably around when your mom was. Hell, Mr. Spears alone was probably the principal when she was a student. It'd probably win you some points to find a famous alumni or previous employee, yeah? By her daughter, no less.
You place a finger under your snoot.
Yeah, she was right. Your mom was somewhat of a celebrity at Volcano High. This could actually work. Yeah, no, that's true, actually. You snap and stand up. Your mind was made. That settles it. I'm painting a portrait of my mom. You smile down at Sarah. But first, I need to get some photo references. Sarah looks down at your stomach and then back up to you. But first, I need to get some lunch. Sarah smirks, getting up from her seat at your desk to follow you to the kitchen. After filling lunch with grilled cheeses, you find your dad out back in the yard working on the lawnmower. Hey, Dad, I have a question for you. Your human father takes a break from fixing the old machine and brings up his forearm to wipe the sweat from his forehead. What do you want, Sweet Tooth? Well, I was wondering if we had any old pictures of Mom laying anywhere. Old photos? Probably one of our old photo albums. You should ask her, though. Honestly, you'd be better off asking Stella for any old pictures of her. Why? You cringe at his misunderstanding. No, Dad! Old photos of Mom! Your father looks at you rather quizzically for a moment before raising his eyebrows in realizations. Oh! Your mother! Yeah, I have some old photos of her still. I'd have to get them for you. They're in the attic. You beam. Sounds great. Whenever you're not busy, of course. Your dad grabs a hand tool from the side and wipes his arms with sweat and grime. I can get them for you now, but, can I ask why? You blink and look up into the air. Oh, I've decided I do want to go to that contest thingy. And I decided who better to paint than one of their most famous alumni. You look back at your dad with an aura of innocence on your face. He nods his head and throws his towel to the side, and he starts to walk back into the house. You follow behind him, passing Sarah, who had been waiting on the porch for a while. She casts you a smug grin and you stop before entering your home. What? I could smell that hard-working hunk from here. You groan and shake your head. Sarah, no. You stand behind your dad as he pulls down the attic ladder in the hallway. Following him up the ladder, you are hit with the smell of old wood and the stench of stale dust. Fumbling away, your dad finally finds a string in the darkness and yanks on it, bringing a light to the dark space. Alright, our old box should be around here somewhere. While the human brain begins to search through the old boxes, your eyes wander through all the old knickknacks and hand-me-downs from years gone by. Boxes of old clothes, a gaudy jacket with a monkey face on it, Stella's wedding dress, which unfortunately seems to have fallen victim to whatever clothes-hungry vermin is crawling around up here. Aha! I think I found it. Glancing over in his direction, you see your dad pulling into view a box with some writing scribbled on it. Fang stuff. Fang? Who the hell is Fang? You thought your mother's name was Lucy. Hey. Yeah, it was. Fang was just a nickname your mother had in high school. It's how I've always known her. You said that out loud, didn't you? Sure did, Sweet Tooth. You really take after me, huh? You sigh and roll your eyes, bending over, and you look behind your dad, who hesitated for a minute before finally opening a box to look through everything. You scooch your dad over so you can look through the old photos. Several key items stick out to you. Guitar picks. A lot of guitar picks. Some old sheet music. An old CD with a cover that looks like it was designed by one of those graphic designers My Passion people. Ripped black jeans with the matching tank tops. An old tarot skull necklace. An orange circular object stuck out to you. What's this? No way, is that? You look over at the device in your hand. It looked like one of those old Roomba things, but smaller. And with a pair of angry eyes glued to the front of it, and... Is that a railgun? Rainbow! Wow, it's been so long! Your dad looks out, holds out his hand, and you give him the little robot. Ray, what? Rainbow! My old pet from high school. Your pet? You ask? You're beginning to think that the attic must be getting to your dad. Yeah, I got him just before I started dating your mother. Oh, that's cool? Your dad turns the little Roomba over in his hand, inspecting it for a minute. Yeah, now there's a story and a half. Ancient mouse history right there. Yeah, I'd love to hear it, but maybe later. I still want to get those pictures so I can start painting. Oh, yeah, sure, I can tell you later then. He places his old pet to the side and digs deeper into the box. Pulling aside a purple dress, he grins. Ah, there you are. With a bit more fumbling, he pulls out an old album, embossed, lettering in front. A&L. The old photo album. Your dad opens the first page, and wow, there she is. You've seen several photos of your mom before, but these seem to be back from when she was in high school. You've only seen pictures of her when she was an adult or as a little kid at the Grandpa Ridley and Grandma Sam's house. It was very weird to see her at your age. She really did look a lot like you, or you looked a lot like her. Surrealness of the situation aside, this is exactly what you need. You smile and nod your head. Thanks, Dad. This is just what I needed. Dad? You glance over at your father and notice him staring at the old photos in front of him. He didn't hear you. Distracted by photos of days past, you inspect them with a sad smile, only snapping out of it when you called out to him. Huh? What? Oh, yeah, no problem. Hope you have everything you need in here. A lot of memories in this old book. He closes it and hands it over to you. Take it from him, you stand up and watch your dad close up the box before pushing it to the side with the other boxes. Well, that was awkward. It was understandable, you guessed. Your mom was his high school sweetheart. It's been so long, he probably never thinks about it too often. Egg is in the attic. Sarah looks up. Got what you needed? You hold up the photo album, showing it off to her. She lets out a whistle. Damn, girl, that's a thick one. Yep, seems I've been spoiled for choice for all the references I could use. Coming back down from the attic, your father turns behind him before he lifts the ladder. Was that all you girls needed? You nod in response and you close the door. Alright, he sighs. I need to get back to fixing the lawnmower and then eventually mow the lawn. Sarah pokes her head out from behind you with a sly smile on her face. I could help you, Mr. Mouse. You inwardly groan, bringing the photo album up to your face. Your father just chuckles and shakes his head. I appreciate that, Sarah, but I think I've got it. It's just a carburetor. Thanks for the offer, though. You Triceratop's friend smile and just smiles. No problem, Mr. Mouse. I'm willing to help with anything. Just ask. Yeah, if I'll ever do, I'll make sure to. With that, your dad leaves, with his back turned to Sarah, makes a slight pout, muttering under her breath. I know how to fix a carburetor. Whatever. I've got the references now. Let's just get started with this painting. You drop the thick book of old memories down at your desk and lift the cover, beginning to go over the many photos and try to find a decent reference. The whole experience was so weird. So many familiar faces. Familiar yet so different. Younger. Their lives ahead of them. Your mom had a very strange choice in makeup. You've heard stories of how she was this punk rock chick growing up, so it wasn't really surprising, but still. The first few photos seem to be much earlier in her high school career. Younger versions of family, friends, and people you've met probably once or twice show up. Sarah leans on your shoulder and points to one of the photos. Hey, that's my mom. Wow, she's just as grumpy looking back in high school as she does today. The photo she was pointing out was one of the teenage Mrs. Trish, sipping from a soda can in class and flipping the bird to whoever was taking the picture, your mom snickering in the background. The pink tail just in the corner eye gave you a clue as to who might have been the photographer. Flipping the page over, and there he was, radiant in all his stoner glory. He has literally not changed at all since high school, it seems. Well, save for his bank account size. Scanning over the pictures, you've even been able to catch glimpses of Aunt Rosa and your Stella in the background of a few photos. According to them, they'd see your mom in detention all the time. She'd be caught skipping class or get into a fight or something and be sent to help the gardening club after class as punishment. As interesting as all these photos were, you just weren't finding what you needed. So you begin to flip through the pages more quickly, hoping to find something that'll be great for reference. Your search only takes pause when you get to a face you're honestly surprised hasn't shown up earlier. Wow, he was a lot skinnier back then. Yep, there's Dad, sitting in the high school auditorium laughing. The next few pages are similar in content. Mom and Dad in a park, Mom and Dad and friends at the mall. There was one of Mom giggling while Dad kissed her on the cheek. Ah, that's adorable, your brow furrowed. Yeah, all these photos are cute, but I need good reference, you respond. Flipping through the pages, again you were met with an amateur photo after amateur photo until... Whoa. Near the halfway point of the album, you found one. A really, really good one. It was a photo of your mom at what must have been prom. She was shredding away on her guitar in an amazing purple dress. Her snoot sported a wide, ecstatic smile, and the background lighting was just perfect. This is the one. You carefully slide the photo out from the plastic sleeve and look it over. Sarah's mouth hung open as she got a look from behind her shoulder. Whoa, Amby! You could look like that. Imagine, if you let your hair grow out just past your shoulders and wore makeup, you might actually be able to get a boyfriend. You spin your head around and sneer at the Triceratops behind you, is now trying to contain her giggling.
Shut up! My hair and makeup is fine as is.
The purple demon continues her giggle fit as you sigh and turn back to the photo. You set it aside carefully and flip back to grab a few more photos that were at different angles so you could get a better idea of her proportions and figure. Once you were happy with the amount of reference photos you have, you slid the album aside and grabbed one of your sketchbooks. This probably wouldn't be your last concept sketch, but you at least wanted to get a basic idea of what you wanted down. It didn't take you long, only a few minutes, after only a few minutes you hummed in satisfaction as you handed the book off to Sarah. Alright, what do you think? Wow, this looks great! You managed to deconstruct the photo to make it look like it was drawn by a chicken, she says through a smug smile, every word dripping with sarcasm. You roll your eyes and snatch the book from her. It's just a sketch, geek. It won't even be my last one. I'll probably make several more until I get something on fine painting. Sarah leans back onto your bed and crosses her arms. Yeah, I know, girl. I'm just messing with you. But now you have a sketch and all the old dusty pictures you want. She pulls the controller she was working on earlier from behind her. The weekend is still young, and you have a month to do this anyway. How's about a little zombie killing? You glance at Sarah, and then back to your sketchbook, sensing your apprehension to not stop while you have a moment. While you have the momentum, she speaks up. I was finally able to fix the joysticks from sticking all the time. You groan. Fine. I suppose I have plenty of time anyways. The Triceratops smiles and tosses you the controller, which you promptly catch. Good. Besides, I can hear your dad mowing the lawn now, and your couch has a fantastic view of the backyard. Sarah, shut up. All right, Chambers. I see you in here. Are you ready? I can smell you as well, Iggy. I could just fucking heard your mic connect. Yeah. Have you been hearing the voices I've been making? Oh. Oh, joy of joys. I have a picture in front of me I drew of the goose hosing down, Cynthia. You've read this before. Yeah, you've read this before. You have better context of what good talking points might be. I've gotten through the 3rd chapter already. Yeah, compared to Bad Apple is ungodly long for 12 chapters. I did that. Yeah? You're probably not seeing my geese then. The first fucking goose I drew for the stream is just doing the dishes, just being like, it's not hard. Clean up after yourself. I feel like a lot of them during this short series are just going to be dogging on Cynthia. I'm trying to draw a more flattering picture for Cynthia. That's just a little more in line with the goose cartoons. I don't. I don't think they'd be friends. Hopefully, I have a better, more, just more flattering drawing for her too. Now, just to have somewhere. I mean, I don't think she is necessarily bad. I think she's not socialized. Dark forest. Oh no. That's alright. That's really unfortunate. I mean, I had a fucking neat phase, but I got over it, evidently. Alright, well, I've drawn a Cynthia that looks like Desmond from Desmond's Day Out and Smiling Friends. Not even following like a reference for that. That's just what came out. I fell down a different trap. Name of iFunny. I feel so bad for the Stego daughter. Just because of just things. It's like she's depriving herself of these things. Oh no. Now you're making me just want to be more supportive to the fucking poor thing. It's just some guy, ultimately. I need to actually work on me not having typos because if I ever want to like publish an actual book, I have an in for it because my fucking uncle owns a publishing company. You might actually be familiar with it because it is headquartered around where you live. They make cookbooks primarily. Oh, are you talking about my fucking first chapter for that? I mean, you saw mine as well. I have, I'd say, the opposite problem. Mike Tyson goose. Writing is a difficult and cruel mistress. I just finished 3. I'm currently drawing a goose version of Mike Tyson. A lot of complaining. A lot of complaining about Cynthia. Yeah. Finding reference, I think. It might be bad to think about, but as soon as they brought up Reed's bank account, I just thought of Lanny saying, longer than my GPA. Yeah. So I sped up and heightened my voice a little bit for Amber, and then I went down to like something raspy because I don't think she'd really talk much during the day. She would talk a lot quicker than me than I generally do. I'd just raise my voice or heighten my pitch a little bit. Yeah, it's deeper than anons. Yeah, I am here to make art. Cynthia, you're a bitch. I haven't decided. It keeps changing. Uh, it might just be a thing with Triceratopses. I can't really nail down what sound they make in voice. Well, I'm trying to decide if I want to go like Boondocks on them, but like, you know, is that in bad taste? Is the next question. What's up, dude? Yeah, I could do that. He'd probably be very nonchalant sounding, though. I've drawn the goose with a big hat. Alright, cool, cool, cool. Geese drawing. Well, it's also the smallest thing on the page. What up? Oh, I'm enjoying it, that's for certain. Yeah, I'll definitely be finishing this. Listen, you know those books with Fabio on them? I read those for fun. Right? Yeah. Which, I mean, I'm a weird guy, but like... There, I've just created a little thing that artifacts on the screen when you fucking zoom out. There you go. Is there anything topical I could draw a goose doing? Topical to the story. Let me make my thing a little bit bigger. That's the white color. I mean, that's just what a visual novel is. Yeah, I remember there was a Riddler comic that did it the same way, where you just always lost as Batman unless you did it you didn't play his game. Which, I mean, I'm spoiling that entire comic, but like, it's really interesting. The goose is looking at the album and smiling very brightly. Actually, let me print screen that just for later, and I can give that to you. I'm also drawing just a very lovely Stella on the page. Yeah. Well, it's not perfect by any means, but it's a lot nicer than most of the other stuff on the page. A lot less malice intended behind it. Even the geese are made with malice. That's 90% of what a goose is just malice. Oh, I know there's a lot of geese in Nebraska. I know. Who do you think put them there? Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. Oh no, I left lines open. Everything's edible. Yeah. Well, I would because they're the only thing that actively hunts humans. Yeah, so do we actively hunt things within reason. Alright, there is a very nice cromulent looking Stella. Airdrop wolves from Michigan. Woo! We did that with bees. Bumblebees and honeybees aren't native to here. Yeah, they're British specifically. I mean, we have cheap honey, so relatively. Oh no! It caused drastic damage. It killed all of our other pollinators. It was drastic. Now the bees are all we have left, so we can't lose the bees that we brought in. Yeah. Uh. Yeah. Well, for like $100, you can get like 20,000 ladybugs. It's eco-terrorism. I also think that you shouldn't be able to buy a million ladybugs just from a click, so. The government gets in the way of selling much more benign things than 1 million ladybugs. Like cheese, for instance. Hey, they're trying. It's very hard to help. I might be getting an increase in mic quality soon, perchance. If the mayor does the thing that he says he might. Who? What? I mean, you can just do that. There, I've drawn a little eye. There, cool. Alright, I think I can get 1 or 2 more chapters tonight. Yeah. Buh. Yeah. It's just one of those buh things, you know? Just gotta do it. Well, I get to actually drive my car instead of a fucking work truck, so I'll probably be okay. That's a much more secluded route. I don't have to be on the fucking interstate as long. Buh. Yeah. I mean, you could literally just be in it for the goose drawings. Yeah, well, it's just a way to have for me to have a break and let other people talk while I'm still doing something. I need to mow my lawn tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure you'll. Yeah, I'm sure you'll pick up the VOD eventually. Yeah, no, it was still going by the time I got up. But also, I rise. Yeah, I rise. I'm the guy who wakes up the roosters, we'll say. Fucking 3 a.m. most days. I probably will at some point. Here, just so you can have it, I have switched the scene already. It'll just be a little extra seeking for me, but let me grab for you. Where the fuck are my goose drawings? I'll put this here. Where the fuck are my goose drawings? Not the goose. No. It's bad for you. Well, I'm unionized, so I don't really. I'm gonna have that good pension if I keep working at it. There, you can have the drawings that I've made for tonight already. No, 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 no. Hush, I'm Mr. the Reader tonight. I finished 3. I don't think they could hear you anyway. Yeah, they couldn't hear you. Absolutely crazy to be fucking wilding over one of your friend's parents like that. I mean, we all make jokes about it, but to just fucking be that damn bad, Jesus Christ. It's reading time. Good night, Iggy. Yeah. You stared blankly at the teacher in front of you. Her words were beginning to slur together in your mind. You let out a sigh as you tapped absent-mindedly against your desk with your pencil. She was talking about transitive verbs or something like that. You didn't care. English was an easy class anyway. You glanced down at your notepad. Scribbles of amorphous shapes that looked like nothing to the untrained eye, but to an artist like you, well, they still look like a bunch of blobs, but they were actually just little doodles you were sketching in extremely basic sketch poses. You would sketch out dozens of them in each period whenever you thought the teacher wasn't looking. You wanted to try and find a good pose to draw your mother in so you could get a decent pencil sketch down before you actually start making the painting process. Though, the first one you drew up was consistently proving itself to be your favorite. Even now, it was just a copy of a photo you found, and honestly, it wasn't going to give you an easy time. It was just so good. The lighting, the pose, the absolute joy on your mom's face, playing it for a crowd. It was a fantastic photo. A fantastic photo that still felt weird to look at. You never really got to know your mom. From what you heard, everybody seemed to like her, so there wasn't any doubt that you would too. There was this mystery that surrounded her. Who was this woman? What was her side of things? It's weird. You never knew the woman. Hell, Stella had been your mom your entire life. You loved her, but it was clear from a young age that she was never the one who gave birth to you. Aside from the obvious species divide, your younger sibling took after Stella in many ways. Though, unfortunately, not in manners or kindness. You two just had differences. You never did like the idea of learning French, something Cynthia picked up really quickly. You eventually dropped it, though, and joined your dad among the monolinguals of the household. But this woman, this Lucy, she looked and probably sounded like you, an artist just like you. You wanted to know if more. It's almost as if, bing bong ding dong, ding dong bing bong. The school bell snapped you out of your inner reflections as the students were beginning to pick up their books and papers and engage in small talk. Now remember, kids, you all have to finish the chapters 4 and 5 by the end of this week. Have a nice lunch! Sighing in relief, you shove your materials down so gracefully into your backpack and sling it over your shoulders. You get up. Fucking finally, you were starving. You made a beeline out of the classroom and swerved down the hallway with a stride in your step, stopping only momentarily at the billboard. You hadn't really written your name down the sheet to enter. You hadn't actually written your name on the sheet to enter the contest. Glancing over the various announcements from clubs and faculty posters, you find it and grab the pencil, dangling from the string to write down your name. What's this? Your grip tightens as you accidentally scrawl out a long, giant last letter of your name. God in heaven, not now. Oh, what's this? You look behind your shoulder at your half-sister. What? You spit in question out of annoyance. I was just wondering what you're signing up for.
You don't usually sign up for extracurriculars.
You consider for a second whether or not you actually tell her what you're doing. It was bound to come up anyway. Plus, she could just read the paper you signed when you got out of the way.
The art contest. I'm signing up for it. Oh, so you're actually going to enter it after all?
Yeah, I am. Why do you care?
Well, you seem to not be interested in Friday night, sis,
she said with a smug grin. You turn around and cross your arms.
Well, I changed my mind.
A green gremlin nodded her head.
I see. Well, what will you be painting anyways? Another lovely scene of the bluffs like almost every student that tries to enter?
Why do you care? Are you going to try to insult me again?
Cynthia rolls her eyes. Amber, I told you I apologized for that, didn't I?
I know Mom and Dad just told you to do it. We both know you didn't want to.
I still did it, though, didn't I?
She quit back. Ugh. Whatever. You can find out when everybody else does. How about that? Look, I'm hungry. I'm going to lunch. See you at home. I turn away and storm out, leaving the orientally obsessed freak in your dust. And then my brother. Oh my god, Amby. He takes Deshaun's dirty, sweaty laundry and fucking dumps it all over me. Stinky preteen sweat, and you don't even want to know what else. All over me and my bed. Just wake me up. You snicker at Sarah's recounting of her morning as you bite into your sandwich. She sighs and places her hand on her forehead. Honestly, thank God your parents are so sweet and have me over basically every weekend. I don't know how to survive living with those two gremlins 24/7. You shrug. They're just kids. Sarah scoffs. Oh, just kids, huh? Amby, you know how siblings can be. Imagine Cynthia but a boy, and then multiply that times 2. You cringe at the thought. Yeah, I see your point. Boy or not, though, I don't think it changed anything about the smell. Sarah, who's been taking a drink or soda, almost chokes, having to spit it out on her tray from laughing. Oh, girl, you ain't wrong. Yeah, I know. Speaking of, I bumped into her on the way here. Your friend's eyes perk up. Oh, any trouble? You put your sandwich down and rub your forehead. Not really, but she caught me signing up for the contest. Oh, did she say anything? You shook your head. She only asked what I was going to paint. Oh, yeah? And what was her reaction? I didn't even tell her. Told her that she'd find out when everybody else at the school will. I don't need her talking shit about a painting that's personal to me. Sarah places her hand on yours and gives you a serious look. Hey, if she says anything, and I mean anything, she'll have to worry about my lavender ass shoving one of them figurines she loves up so much her ass. You snicker at the thought. It'd probably be the most action that girls will ever get in her life. No, Amby, I'm serious. You know I got your back. You give your friend a small smile of appreciation. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Sarah. Bing dong, ding dong. Bing, bing, dong, bong. Shit. Scarfing down your sandwich, you quickly get up and throw away your trash, waving bye to Sarah as you speed walk to your next period. Breathe in. Breathe out. You relax as you let the sounds of the boardwalk calm your nerves. The soft wind waves beating across the rocks bring you serenity that you seldom get anywhere else. Opening your eyes, you begin to take in the beauty of the setting sun over the horizon. Feeling ready, you place your headphones on and start your usual playlist. This is a place you always come to get away from it all. It's your place, despite that radiant beauty. Especially at this time of day, no one was usually here. The park was behind you, there was food stand not far away, and a bench you sat on didn't even have much bird poop on it. You kick your leg and lean back. Opening your sketchbook, you start to draw some more refined sketches than ones you drew in school earlier. The lead of your pencil glides across in long strokes. Simple geometry eventually giving way to more stylized forms. Not too stylized, though. These were simple constructions. Your mind was blooming at this point. It's why you loved coming back here so much. School was so much stress with the work and prying eyes of teachers and students alike. Home life was, well, yeah. And even on the weekends, Sarah, as much as you liked having her around, could cause grief with her constant ogling at your father. None of that was here, though. You were alone, at a scenic location, and it gave you time to breathe, chance to draw and sketch without the stress of life getting in the way. Speaking of your art, you found an alternate sketch you really liked. Might as well add some detail in it to make it actually look like your mom. You pull out your phone and open your gallery. For the sake of convenience, you've taken a picture of every page of the album. Still didn't really have a chance to look at it, though. Just gotta flip through each page and take a quick picture. You still didn't want such precious memories being misplaced or stolen by bringing it out in the public. Swiping through the images on your phone, you finally found an image that was good enough to reference and set the phone to the side. Where to start? Her beak, you suppose. It was a defining shape. You terrors were kind of known for them second to your wings. Ah, yeah, the wings, too. Man, your mom had very elegant wings. You wonder what she would have looked like under a black light. Did she have the same patterns as you? You remember your dad first showed you the intricate patterns that existed all over your body. The sheer shock and awe left you were left and you were speechless. The sheer shock and awe you were left in was speechless. The sheer shock and awe you were in left you speechless. You'd sit in the bathroom for hours and just look over your wings and arms for hours. Every tarot has a different pattern, like fingerprints for humans, just prettier to look at and less boring. You had stars down your arm, and you wonder what your mom had. Oh yeah, arms. Specifically the feathers on them. Nothing really to say about them, though. Drawing them definitely made your brain think hard about your own elbow feathers and how itchy they were getting trapped under your long sleeve undershirt. Grunting, you pull your sleeves back to free them, letting the cool breeze carry away the stuffy heat that's getting trapped between your feathers. Much better. Moving on, let's see. You had the snoot down, then the wings and feathers. Hair! Her hair was much longer than yours. It seemed to reach down to the middle of her back, just below the wing joints, you'd guess. You absentmindedly moved your hands through your own shoulder length hair. You've had it this short for, well, basically your entire life. Maybe you should let it grow out. Just as you finished the hair on your sketchbook, you add another detail in. Oh yeah, her makeup. You were adding coloring, so you'd just have to rely on difference in how dark you make it around the eyes to do it justice. And her makeup was, well, eccentric. It didn't look bad, though. It seemed to fit her pretty well. You just never used makeup like that. Most you'd use probably some eyeliner, maybe some lipstick if you really want to get fancy. Not that you had lips, but you know what I mean. Perhaps you could stand to use a bit more makeup. If she could pull it off, why couldn't you? It brought out her eyes as well. Her eyes, they looked just like yours. Hell, if it weren't for the hair, you'd be looking to a mirror. Same orange irises, same diamond pupil. You sit there for a moment, looking deep into the image. That's when you noticed this feeling, a strange feeling in your chest. Or perhaps it was a lack of feeling. You couldn't say for sure. You didn't really know what it was, but it was just confusing you. Was it sadness? You really didn't feel sad. What about anger? No, you felt that on an almost daily basis with your sister around. You couldn't really say what you were feeling was positive, but you didn't down anything. you didn't down about it anything really. The fact that you felt pretty calm and neutral right now, there was just a strange feeling in your chest. A strange feeling you couldn't find a word for. You began to flip through the photos in your phone. Having completely forgotten about your sketch at this point, you were transfixed on this person. You knew her name. She gave birth to you. You knew her interests, and so far as what other family members had said she was interested in, she married your dad. But she's gone now. Who was Lucy Mouse? Who was this woman? In the middle of your investigation into the photos of your mother, your phone begins to buzz and a notification blocks the image you were looking at. Dad is calling. Oh shit, what time is it? You look up and see the sun had long gone down. You sweat under your breath and push the answer button. Hello? Amber. Hey, Sweet Tooth, you doing alright? Yeah, Dad, I'm fine. I'm just on the boardwalk. You know what I told you about staying out there after the streetlights come on? Yeah, I know. I was just distracted with drumming. Well, it's getting late, and your mom was almost on dinner. It's about time you start making your way home. Alright, Dad. Yep, on my way. Good. And hurry. Your food's going to get cold if you don't get here. Yes, sir. Understood. I'm walking to the bus stop now.
Alright, see you soon. Love you. Yep, love you too. Bye. You hang up and grow in frustration. Fuck. You really hope you wouldn't be getting earful after dinner. You close the sketchbook and shove it back in your backpack before getting up and rushing towards the nearest bus stop. You'll just have to finish the sketch at home. I'm getting fucking sleepy. I'm sorry. I was gonna go for fucking another chapter, but I'm fucking sleepy, man. I apologize. I'm a little eepy guy. Yeah, just a little eepy, you know. Yeah, I'm just a little leafy guy. Just, you know, I just fucking end my stream real quick.